Welcome. Sit down. This is the first interview. There will be more if you pass our criteria. This interview is being recorded, and I will be typing extensive notes regarding this interview and your answers. Do not be alarmed. It does not mean that you are doing badly if I'm typing extensive or even excessive notes. We will ask primarily personality and behavioral questions, and then end with some of the yes or no. And then if things are going well, we will end with some of our deal breakers for this position. Most likely, though, we won't have time for that. The deal breakers would be in a second interview, most likely, so don't be concerned if we don't have time to get to those today. I'm aware that you have applied for this position, but how did you hear about the position? And how did you hear about the company at all? We're not online, we're not easily accessible. As you're aware of what we do, I'm sure we are very secretive. We're a secret organization, business, bureau. Finding us is difficult. So how did you hear about the position? And what do you know about the company? Yes, we do deal with extermination of a sort, but not the kind that you're probably most familiar with. So why did you apply for this position? I see. And what are your career aspirations in the future? I mean, coming from a military background and then doing that work professionally for a few years, what is your goal in the future after obtaining this position, of course? You would like to retire in this position? Well, I can assure you that most people who obtain this position usually do retire. If you could work for any company at all, what would it be? Now, that is peculiar. You prefer to work with family, even if it's something you weren't experienced in, something you weren't familiar with. Why? Now, with this position, you would actually have to possibly move, and in fact, there might be lots of moving with this position. Are you comfortable with travel? Are you comfortable with relocation? Like a different country, different state, different state of mind. Are you comfortable with relocating entirely, moving to vastly different space, being disconnected from the world you know, from your family, friends? Are you comfortable with that? Absolutely. We would pay for everything. In fact, it wouldn't be on the books at all. And you would have plenty of time to acclimate to your new situation and surroundings. We aren't just going to throw you into the position in a new land, a new world, and expect you to simply adapt off the cuff. Yes, you would have a translator, so if the language is not a requirement for this position. Do you have a valid driver's license? And for international travel, which is a requirement for this position, do you have a valid passport? Or would you need time to get a passport prior to obtaining this position? Interesting. And if you were offered the job and started working here, what would your 5-year plan be, since this position would not align with your other career aspirations? You want to stay here until you retire. Yes, you said that. You do realize the line of work that we do is dangerous. Are you comfortable with that kind of lifestyle? Now, are you someone who is risk adverse? How do you feel about taking risks? Interesting. And what was your reason for leaving your previous work position? Do you have any problems with shift work, being on call, graveyard shifts, changes to shift schedule, and working overtime? That is perfectly understandable. Yes, we do pay an exceptional overtime rate. Most overtime rates, time and a half, maybe double time. We actually pay triple time, and all time working overtime is banked in your paid time off. Yes. Well, this is not a salary position per se. It's hourly, but it's extensive hours. Again, the pay is exceptional. The benefits, wonderful. We will get to that later on if there's a second interview. That's confidential. So, what are your best skills or strengths? That's very standard. What would you say is something special or exceptional, a secret superpower you could say that you have? I'm sorry, could you say that again? I mean, I heard you, but I just want to hear you say it again. Well, I understand why you would keep that secret. You say you can talk to rats. Okay, rodents. You can speak to all rodent kind, or is it something particular, the special kind of rodent that you can speak with? When you say speak to rodents, can you elaborate on what you mean? Okay, so it is more of a metaphorical. You're not actually communicating with rodents. Interesting. And were you able to, can you give me an example or story of how you were able to utilize that in your previous work position? Sort of a Pied Piper situation. Interesting. So what is your greatest weakness? Now, with this position, you would have to be covert and secretive. Can you keep a secret? Have you kept a secret from me so far in this interview? Can you tell a lie? Interesting. And can you tell me, what do you do in your spare or free time? Not that you would have lots of free time if you get this position, but what do you enjoy doing? Do you have any hobbies? Now, why did you start doing that? Would you be able to or willing to leave that behind if you obtain this position? Or would you need to be accommodated to take all of them with you? No, that's not a deal breaker. It is just something we want to take note of. It's an extra cost and rather tricky with customs to sometimes get that all through. How quickly do you adapt to new technology? Now, you are aware of what we do here, and you said that you were interested especially in the field work of this position, and that we deal with extermination. Now, you've been in the extermination business for a while now. Can you tell me more about that? So with your time working there, you've been there for many years, what motivated you? What excited you? What kept you in that line of business? Yes, similar to that, we do provide a special service, keeping people safe, protected, removing pests. But we do rather different kinds of work here than before. Than what you've done before. Let me clarify that. I see. So, how do you manage being in a high-paced, under pressure situation. I see. And how do you handle the difference of a short-term stress versus long-term, sustained, continuous stress? I see. And can you tell me about a time when you failed and how you handled it? Yes. Wait, you went into anaphylactic shock. You didn't say that when... So, when mentioning your greatest weakness, you didn't think to mention that you're allergic to bees. Okay, do you have any allergies? Any other allergies? Any other allergies at all? Okay, I'm going to stop you here. Just to make sure I have this clear. The full comprehensive list of all of your allergies is grass, weeds, dandelions specifically, flowers, pollen, mold, dust, dust mites, hay, fungi, chlorine, lactose, eggs, gluten, wheat specifically, nuts, peanuts specifically, shellfish and crustaceans, mollusks, soy, seeds such as sunflower and sesame, cockroaches, bees, mosquitoes, wasps, bedbugs, fleas, ants, termites, butterflies, spiders, snakes, penicillin, cleaners such as Clorox, bleach, Windex, fragrances and perfumes, cosmetics, alcohol, and ice. But you're not allergic to cats and dogs, correct? How do you function as a pest controller with this many allergies? That's it, just an EpiPen. That's okay. And what is your favorite oxymoron? Jumbo shrimp. All right. Your favorite oxymoron is something you're allergic to. Now, you are aware that we do extermination of different things than you have in the past. You, of course, being a pest controller, insect exterminator, and you've been allergic to most of the things that you end up exterminating. What would... You could have died, essentially, in exterminating like a wasp nest. And it's a very dangerous situation for someone like you. Why did you stay in that industry when you're allergic to your enemy? So you have compassion for them, even when your job is to remove or eliminate them. Interesting. I still can't get over the fact that you're allergic to that many things. We do a physical and psychiatric examination before you gain this position. Do you have any concerns with passing the physical, being that you're allergic to that many things? Especially things you might still be encountering in this position. Yes. I can't go into the details on that, but that would be in a future interview. Yes. Yes. Okay. Now tell me, what is your favorite year that you have been alive? If you could rename any of the months of the year, which one would you rename, and what would you rename it? Socrates, is that after the philosopher? You would name it after the rodent in a popular film. Okay. And what is something that you always forget exists? What is under your bed? Yes, currently. What is your phone number backwards? No, don't worry about that. We'll just skip that one. Do you like animals? I think I know the answer to this. Why are you anxious? Maybe I should ask then, why are you paranoid? Do you have a favorite form of currency? No, your answer does not change where you would be relocated to. Do you have a favorite form of currency? Thank you. Have you borrowed something and never gave it back? That's not what I... All right, and there's more. Okay. All right. How would you fight a vampire? You do know the difference of a vampire versus other undead, correct? Okay. And how would you fight a ghoul? And how would you fight a ghost? Okay. just a piece of advice. I feel like you're not taking these answers seriously. Yes, these are serious questions. They do pertain to this position. And how would you fight a giant bee? No, giant. No, bigger than that. As big as a house. How would you fight a bee as big as a house? Now, how would you fight a bee as big as a tower? Giant tower. The Eiffel Tower. How would you fight a bee as big as the Eiffel Tower? All right. Now, how would you fight a bee as big as a town? City. Big city. San Francisco. How would you fight a bee as big as San Francisco? What if you were fighting a bee the size of New York? What if you were fighting a bee the size of Chicago? What if you were fighting a bee the size of Florida? What if you were fighting the bee the size of Austin, Texas? What if you were fighting a bee the size of Seattle? What if you were fighting a bee the size of Australia? What if you were fighting a bee of the entire continent of America? What if you were... I'm sorry, were you getting tired of me asking you relative questions about fighting bees? Yes, these questions do pertain to this position. They are very pertinent to what your job details might require. Yes, the requirements of this position might be fighting massive giant bees. Do you have a concern with that? I'm sorry, am I bugging you? Yes, this is part of the interview. Yes, it is to see your reaction to the questions as well as your answer to the questions. So, do you mind answering, how would you fight a bee the size of the Statue of Liberty? Is that your final answer? What is your experience with weaponry, guns, ammunition, or explosives? All right. Do you have any questions for me today? Yes, all of those questions do pertain to this position. We do not ask any extraneous, useless questions. Why do you think I asked you that question? Let's see. Any other questions? I did answer that. Were you not paying attention? Do you have any other questions for me at this time? That is confidential. That is also classified. That is also confidential. That is classified. That's confidential. Yes, we do actually deal with insect extermination, and we do have a bit of an infestation problem with our New York location. Yes, we could contract you out there just to deal with the insects. There are bees. Do you have any concerns with that? I understand. Well, thank you so much for your time today. If you don't mind, please like, subscribe, leave a comment with the front desk, and after doing that, don't forget to hit the bell on your way out of the building. Don't worry about hearing back from us. If you're accepted for this position, we will find you and bring you in. If you are not accepted, do not worry. You will not have any memory of this location, position, or interview. Thank you for your time, and have a good day, and sleep well.